I have been an accidental entrepreneur. Like I never really set out to be an. If someone had told me that if you start making content as a hobby, one day, it's going to result in you being an entrepreneur, I would have stopped. I would have stopped immediately because I never had an entrepreneur bone in my body. But just building out what I've been up to for the past 5, 6 years, I realized that once money is involved in something, it's a business and you have to start to treat it as such. Otherwise, you don't get the results of a business. You need to start thinking about it as an organization, thinking about accounting, thinking about hiring, you need to study all those things as if you are starting a company because that's what it is. I didn't set out to have staff. I didn't set out to have a payroll. I was just doing this thing that was a hobby of mine, passion of mine, but now it's grown into all those other things. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards entrepreneurship now.
So you have skills, you have experiences, you have knowledge. It's time for you to monetize your knowledge. Do you know that you can make an extra $5,000 every single month by selling what you know? Hi, my name is Paul Fo. I am doing a free webinar on the 30th of June called to make an extra $5,000 to $10,000 every single month, selling your knowledge and your experience. I have helped a lot of people do that. It's time for you to come for this class. It's free. So click on the link in the show notes of this video and come to the class and you thank me later. Let's get back to the episode with my guest. Let's go. Boom. That's the thing. So Sela, the first question I want to ask you is, you are a content creator you started as a content creator. Now you are an entrepreneur. Which of the hats do you wear? Do you emphasize on now?
That's a very good question because if you had asked me this question 3 months ago, I would have said creator. But now I think I'm leaning more toward entrepreneur. I'm thinking more about the big picture of the African creator economy. So I'm not just thinking about my own content and how to make the next video. I'm thinking, how do I change things on an ecosystem level? How do I make an impact on an ecosystem level? And that's not something I think you can only approach from the mindset of a creator. You need to get into the mind of an entrepreneur. Also, I'm turning 30 years.
Wow.
There are a lot of ways in which I'm now feeling very adult, and I'm stepping into that more. I have been an accidental entrepreneur. Like I never really set out to be if someone had told me that if you start making content as a hobby, one day, it's going to result in you being an entrepreneur, I would have stopped. I would have stopped immediately because I never had an entrepreneur bone in my body. But just building out what I've been up to for the past 5, 6 years, I realized that once money is involved in something, it's a business and you have to start to treat it as such. Otherwise, you don't get the results of a business. You need to start thinking about it as an organization, thinking about accounting, thinking about hiring, you need to study all those things as if you are starting a company because that's what it is. I didn't set out to have staff. I didn't set out to have a payroll. I was just doing this thing that was a hobby of mine, passion of mine, but now it's grown into all those other things. Yeah, I'm leaning more towards entrepreneurship now.
Very, very good. Very, 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 very good. So, you've done this now for 5, 6 years?
Yes, I'm going on 6 years. I'm going on 6 years by December.
Great. If you had to do it all over again, what is the 1 or 2 skills you will develop first going out the gate?
Definitely video editing. That's one. Video editing and just general business skills. I think that's something that set me back early on my journey. I can't, you never know, what could have been because that's not what happened. But I strongly believe that if I had a very strong business sense from day one, because I've spoken to creators who started out with a full-on business mind, either because they had done something else in the past. I have a friend who's worked in tech and all of that. So at the time when she was going to become a content creator, she had her whole first year mapped out. For me, I was just, it was trial and error. I didn't know there was money involved. I was just doing that. So definitely my business sense. And then secondly, video editing, because I now I'm starting to see that a lot of creators in my shoes are getting paid, not just because of the audience they have, but because of the quality of content they're able to produce. For me, my strongest suit is my community. It's the engagement I have.
Yeah.
access I have to the heads and hearts of people, and that's the access that brands will pay for. But if I also was like an amazing video editor, which I am not, I don't even have the time to learn right now, I would just outsource all of that. I feel like it would put me in a place where I would be able to charge even more, because there are creators now who don't have as many followers as I do, who haven't been on social media as long as I have, but because they're able to create at a certain quality, they're able to demand a premium, because the brands pay them for the content and they're able to use that content somewhere else. They're able to use it in commercials. They're able to use it on billboards. If a brand pays me to do content, it still goes far because I have a very large community, but it's not the kind of video that they can go and put on a billboard, because that's not the kind of videos I make. But early on my journey, if I had to go back, those would be the two things: a creative skill and a business skill.
Very, very good. Very, very, very interesting. Now, with the proliferation of AI and freelancers everywhere now, are you going to combine those two components to close that gap of greatly edited videos? Do you have plans to do that?
For sure. Definitely. Something that has been helping. My wife is a filmmaker, so
Great.
I was going to start learning to edit by myself. So the regrets I have is not because I can't do it now. I can. It's just, it would have been easier back then when I had the whole day and no deliverables and no emails and no clients calling you to check up on anything. It would just have been easier. Then I'm still going to give it time and effort now. For example, I have to pay a monthly subscription for Adobe, but because my wife is a filmmaker, I'm just going to learn with the stuff she already has access to. So that sort of gives me a landing pad. So yeah, AI does help. I think there's still, as a creative person, I believe there's still this of work that is required to make something. And don't get me wrong, like I use AI almost every day at this point, but it's to make my work easier. It's not to create from scratch.
Yeah.
Because there's still, the speed that we're choosing instead of the painstaking nature of creativity, we're giving up something there. There's a part of us that is dying as a result of that effort that we're running away from.
Yeah.
Effort is a beautiful thing. Like the idea of, I woke up this morning, this thing didn't exist, and now because I put in so and so hours of work, it now exists in the world, and it's because I did it. Doesn't matter how fast you did it. I think that's a thing that we should not lose on the altar of productivity. Productivity is so important, and we should find ways to be productive, but we also need to find ways to be creative, because everything that humanity has achieved up to this point, even the people who have done the work that has brought
Yeah.
it's because they tasked their minds. Like they really, really pushed themselves to the point where they're able to make something that makes life easier for everybody. And that's the only way to be rich. My dad always told me that the way to be successful is to facilitate the success of others. That's just the only, there's no other way to be rich. If you can find a way to make other people rich, if you can find a way to make other people's life easier, can find a way to make other people's lives softer. This is across every industry. That's how you make money. So the people who have made AI, they've made our lives easier, and they're going to make money from it. But everyone needs to think, how will I make other people's lives easier? How will I improve other people's lives so that I can get wealth in the process? And if you move your mind and your brain to the point where you no longer know how to be creative, that's just never going to happen for you. So that's the line that I think each of us needs to learn to just dance along.
Yeah, that's powerful. I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I was done answering the question.
Yeah. Yeah, so fantastic. So there was a report that came out not long ago from Kajabi, and the report states that the creators who wear only the creator's hat are the ones who are struggling financially. But the creators who wear both a creator's hat and a business hat are the creators who are actually, doing well. So just to segue to the next question is, a friend of mine, I've interviewed him on the podcast as well. His name is Steven Unduku. He's a big YouTuber.
Yeah.
Close to 1 million subs in his YouTube, but really good. He just did a series now where he interviews some of the skit makers, content creators in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And so when I watched that until like 11 p.m. when I heard the numbers and the figures these guys were doing, it's insane. It's insane. Like insane. $40,000, $50,000, $30,000 a month from AdSense and other merchandise. So the question I want to ask you now is that what is it that you used to believe about this business that you no longer believe?
That you have to be passionate about it to succeed.
Tell me why. Why?
Because I've met too many people who are passionate and don't make any money. I was one of them at some point. It's good to be passionate, but the passion doesn't really do anything for you. It's your ability to do business. You knowing that, okay, this is the game. How do
Yes.
I play it in order to improve my chances of winning? There are a lot of people, like I
That's
said,
right.
some people are not passionate. They know, okay, this is where the world is going with the digital creator economy. This is how I intend to plug in. They have a game plan. So when they're coming in, they already know
That's right.
that, okay, first 6 months, I'm not making anything, but this is the way in which I will keep building. So when they are making videos every day, twice a day, 3 times a day for 6 months straight, they're not looking at likes, comments, and shares. The passionate person is looking at likes, is looking at comments, looking at shares. No, they're looking at conversion. They're looking at other metrics. They're looking at lead generation, because they know I'm building a business. This is not about entertaining people. Even though they are entertained in the process, they know what the end goal is.
Yeah.
Something I believed was that, if you're not passionate, you can't do it. But I met people who are they're more like distributors. They're more like distributors rather than what's the word now? They're more like distributors rather than creative people. They understand that this is what this platform is. YouTube wants to get more people on the platform. In order for them to get more people on the platform, YouTube wants advertisers.
Yeah.
In order for advertisers to pay them, they need to get more people on the platform. So there are people who understand this. That's how they're thinking about it. Like, what does YouTube want?
Yeah.
They're thinking, what does Instagram want? On on the level of the companies. So you can't afford to only think about a creator who's like just passionate and you expect, oh, things will just come to me. That just doesn't work.
Interesting. I know that there are different pathways or channels through which a creator can monetize. I know you do a lot of brand deals, very good brand deals. All right. So apart from brand deals, which other monetization pathways do you encourage people to explore?
Sorry, I think you more than anybody knows this, but you're asking me so that it will be me that will say it. And there's a very long list. So I think everyone, before I answer the question directly,
or maybe what has worked for you. Maybe what has worked for you.
I'll share everything. So before I answer the question of before I list the things that have worked for me, what I want to tell everyone is think about the internet like a highway, right? Just think about it like a highway. And depending on how you position yourself on the highway, people have different things they need. If you position yourself properly, it will come for what you have. Marketing, internet is not just about like convincing people to buy what they don't need. No, it's about positioning yourself as a solution to problems that already exist in a place where many people with the problems are passing by. So they see.
Come on now, like that.
So some of the ways that I have made money is digital products. I have an ebook I wrote in 2021 about community. As at last week, it sold like 4,500 or more copies.
It's very good.
I barely promote it. This has all been from organic marketing, which means if I'd run ads on it, it would probably sell more times 4, times 5, who knows. This has all been through organic, building my community. I have courses, I've taken classes where I've trained more than 3,000 people. All of this I didn't set out to be a teacher. I just made my content. And then many people would ask me, how do you do this? And I said, if I'll teach you, I'll do a class, right? And in that class, I've had to build things out. I had to figure out, okay, what am I going to teach? I'll teach personal branding. I'll teach content strategy. I'll teach community building. I'll teach creative storytelling, like a bunch of different subjects that I've just found a way to fuse and then give that to people as value. Apart from brand partnerships, I've also had opportunities to speak. So if you are someone who speaks well, the pipeline from making content to speaking is so simple. It's so terribly simple. All you have to do is actually charge money for it. People will pay you to speak. People will pay you to learn. For some, they'll be paying you to learn what you have learn about what you have done, what you've used to establish an audience for yourself. For some others, what they'll be paying you for is just who you are.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I've had some events. Me, I always assume that people are calling me to speak because I'm a good speaker, but I've learned with some events that they just used me to sell tickets, because my face was there. There were people who,
I like
yeah,
that.
for real. And I'm just like, it's fine, just give me my cuts. They know that, okay, if this person is popular on social media, if we put their face here, there are people that will just come just because their face is there. Some of those events I'll go and they'll make me be the last to speak because they know that a lot of people came because so they don't want me to speak, and then after I leave, everybody leaves. So they'll just put me last. And I can tell, but I don't mind. I'm just like, I mean, while playing the game, I know what's happening. Yeah, so speaking is another amazing way to get an income. For some people, affiliate marketing, I don't know why this is a very uncomfortable subject for people. I don't know why. But ultimately, affiliate marketing, for anybody who doesn't know, is you help other people sell their products and you get a cut of whatever.
It's in a part of the world that people are uncomfortable with.
Yeah, it's absolutely normal. Like, every YouTuber has affiliate links in their comment section. Like, if I make a review of this phone, I make a review of my phone, and after the video, in the description rather, I put a link for you to buy the phone. Everybody who buys the phone through that link, I get paid a percentage. Maybe 2.5%, might be 5%. Now think about this on every level. This can extend to as far as like the dress you're wearing, the ring you're wearing, your glasses, where you cut your hair, everything. On TikTok, it's a crazy world out there. Like, people are always buying things just because someone talked about it. It can be the tea you drink, the tissue paper you use, your Bluetooth speaker, your TV.
Very powerful.
It can products that cost $10 all the way to products that cost over $10,000. So it's a really big way that a lot of creators. There's also user-generated content. So mostly I'm doing brand deals. When I do brand deals and influencer partnerships, I have to be in the video. It has to be posted on my personal page. But there are a number of creators who create, quality content, which is why I said, I wish I was really good, a good editor earlier, because there are creators who will get sent products. They make videos about the products and they don't post it on their page. They sell the content back to the brand. So the brand then posts it as user-generated content, like content that was made by their customers or just random people using the product. Now, a lot of people in tech do this, like tech content creators that make videos about, computers, Bluetooth speakers, phones, stuff like that. Apart from the fact that they have an audience that they are making content for with influencer partnerships, they also have those user-generated videos that they're making where they make a video about a product and they send that video to the brand, and the brands are able to use it. Now, depending on what they use it for, you can charge more for licensing, for usage rights. If, for example, a brand says we want to use it on a billboard, you ask them, where are you using the billboard? They say 20 billboards across Nigeria. You can decide to charge them per billboard or per month or for the period of time when they have the rights. Because at the end of the day, it's your content, it's your intellectual property, it's you in the videos. But you can then give them the license to use that content to many levels. If they now say we want to use it in billboards across the world, depending on the size of the brand, that's more money that you can get for that one piece of content that you made one time.
Brilliant.
Right? Those are some of my major, consulting also. Another thing, again, sometimes is just based on the work I do and what I'm involved in and just how much I know about brands and marketing and how much I know about community building from an experiential level. So this isn't anything I studied in school. This isn't anything. It's just because this has been my daily life. I interact with hundreds of people daily. So there's insights into user behavior that I have that the average person doesn't have. Sometimes even the average creator doesn't have it because they are not interacting with their audience like that. But I am. So their brands for whom that insight is valuable. And in order for them to get it, I need to be paid. So sometimes it's me sitting in on the meeting so they can get my perspective on something. Sometimes it's me actually working with a department. Like I've had a number of times where I'm speaking to a department, like the marketing department, they're on a retreat somewhere and I'm invited to speak to them, spend time with them. They ask me questions, and the questions are not just them asking a facilitator a question. It's them asking a top influencer questions from the perspective of a brand manager. So they have insights. So it helps them, the next time they have a campaign, they know what influencers to bring. I'm sure all of us have seen adverts sometimes where there's, like it's a detergent brand or something, and they're hiring a content creator that reviews phones. And you're just like, how did you people make that nonsense connection? So they don't want to be making mistakes like that. They want to hire the right influencers that align with their brand. They don't want to just bring any random person that has a large following. They need people who understand influencer marketing, who have been there to sort of consult on issues like that. I've also had times when I'm running like a 2-week training with a non-profit for some kids, internally displaced kids. There's so many opportunities like that that just come up as a result of you putting yourself out there. I don't think I've fully exhausted the limits of the ways in which I can monetize.
Yeah.
I still want to explore so many more. I'm starting a membership from next month that will run till the end of the year.
Great.
One thing I do need to say though is when we talk about monetization, people tend to focus too much on the monetization and forget that whatever it is people are exchanging for, whatever it is people are giving money for, you need to give them a lot of value.
That's right.
You need to give them a lot of value. So you need to also not just be thinking, oh, how will I make money? You need to be thinking, how will I add value, so that you also have repeat customers. One of the things that I'm able to really brag about is I keep having repeat customers. Like the people who have bought my ebook have paid for my classes, they've registered for my events, they've joined my memberships, they've bought my merch. Oh, that's another thing again. You can always make merch. I have tote bags, t-shirts and stuff. So I've had some people in my community who have bought from me in different ways 6, 7, 10 times, and that's only possible because each time they interact with you and part with money, they're getting value. So make sure you're thinking about how to be a person of value more than anything.
Very, very good. Very, 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 very good. I also think that another avenue that I don't see a lot of people explore is their email list and getting equity in some of the companies. People forget that we are mimetic creatures and we copy. It's natural. That's how we learned how to talk and walk. I always use this example. So I bought this, my favorite IKEA stool, right? So I have a lot of these stools all over my house. It's because of a creator in London. His house is so fine. So any gadget I see, anything I see, any furniture I see. In fact, I just bought a new bicycle, a foldable bicycle, because I saw him. I ride bicycles normally, but I bought a foldable bicycle because of the guy. Yeah, mine is not as expensive as his. His bicycle is like 300 pounds. I bought mine from a vintage store for 50 pounds.
Still influence.
But people influence people's behavior. And a lot of creators don't get equity. Salem, I did a job for a company. I got equity and they gave me a property. The form of equity I got was the property. So most creators don't. I'm even saying that to you right now. If you notice that you did a campaign for a client and the thing went viral, the next time they come back to you again, tell them, look, let's structure something out. I don't mind reducing my fee a little bit, but for everything that is sold, I get a little. That will even put more skin in the game for you. And even email lists. People don't know that on Substack, you can actually charge people to read your premium version of your email.
Yeah.
I know of a guy that does $1 million a year from his email list on Substack.
That's crazy. Just writing.
It's insane. Tell him you are ripe to be on Substack right now. You're also ripe to have a premium version for $10 a month or $100 a year. With the following that you have, you do $1 million.
I'm writing it down. Immediately.
Like straight up, you will do it. you do this. Guys, this is a great masterclass. I hope you guys are enjoying this. So just click on the subscribe button. And Salem, you're going to put a link to all of your materials at the show notes so that people can people can sort of like take advantage of it. So let's get into more questions before I let you go. I know you're a very busy man. Who is a creator that you look at and you'll be like, man, these people understand the business of this business? I'll give you mine. They run a podcast called Acquired Podcast. Two guys, smart boys in Silicon Valley. So they were doing advert for a particular bank and they realized that the bank got over maybe 50,000 new customers because they just mentioned it on their podcast. The name of the bank is Morgan. I forgot the name of the bank now. Man, they are in partnership with that bank. In fact, they did a conference in New York in a big stadium. The bank gave them the stadium. The bank paid.
What?
So who are the ones for you that you look at like, these guys, they get it?
A couple actually, but high up on that list is MKBHD. He's like one of the foremost.
He gets it.
Tech content creators in the world. I love that. No shade to anybody. So in the part of the world where I live currently, Nigeria, it seems as though once creators grow to a certain extent, you have to sort of transition to Nollywood or like becoming a Lagos socialite, something like that. Which, no shade to anyone, but there's people who are not interested in that. Like, we just want to keep being creators. We don't see being creators as a means to an end. We want to continue to create while building a business still in the ecosystem. And I think MKBHD is just the perfect example of that. They've built out other YouTube channels.
Yes.
Channel for the studio. They built out a car YouTube channel. They have a podcast, and there's so much merch. Like the merch they have, you can buy shoes. The MKBHD shoes. He collaborated with Atoms to make that. You can buy luggage. Collaborated with Ridge together. You can get wallets, bags, T-shirts, key holders. Like it's a whole universe of just connected to that world of his. He launched an app. He just continues to do a lot of amazing things. So MKBHD is that guy for me. On the business side, it would be Diary of the CEO, not just because of the podcast, but because of everything else they do behind the scenes.
Yes.
I love that they started the Behind the Diary channel.
Very good.
Yeah,
I watch it
Behind the Diary channel, where they would take us through everything they do behind the scenes to make up what we see. I love the way they document, and just the way that after they made the Diary of the CEO podcast and perfected it, they started producing other podcasts. That's just such an amazing business model, and there's so much to learn from that, and I'm always learning.
Great.
In Nigeria, it would be Fisayo Fosudo. Like, I don't know if you know him.
I've had him on the podcast. Yeah, great guy.
Like, I love Tayo Aino also, Oge Eziono, a bunch of Nigerian content creators that I really respect, admire, and, look up to in many ways. There's so much to learn from just observation, People always try to get a mentor, they try to DM someone who may never even see their DM, but there's so much to learn from just observing the people you admire, just studying their process, not trying to copy the results, but studying the process, because that's where the magic is.
Yeah.
But too many people just trying to copy results, but study their process, hear what they're saying, hear what they're not saying. Just listen closely. If there's somebody you want to mentor you and you can't reach them, buy all their books, go to all their events, make sure you listen to every single piece of content that is out on the internet with their name on it. You will get more than even some of the people that are close to them. If you have the heart of a
very good, very, very powerful. I always tell people that consume content with the mind of a scientist, not as the mind of a consumer.
Yep. That's real.
With the mind of a scientist, not with the mind of a consumer.
Yeah, because there's always a science around. Yeah. There's always a science to the art.
So I'll give you an example. So yesterday I saw Stephen Bartlett's shorts on my feed. He interviewed the father of AI. And then he now said that if you want the full episode, comment episode and you will get the link. Now the episode is already on his YouTube channel. So he's using a company called MoneyChat.
Yeah.
You get me? So I said to myself, I've been doing that, but now I want to double it. That's how you learn as a scientist. So this episode with Salem King now, the clip is going to come out. I will do it exactly like that. If you want the full episode, comment this. It grows your email list and it gets more people to watch the episode. That's how you consume like a scientist, not as a consumer. So then what keeps you up at night? I don't know about it. I think about AI a lot. It's coming from my job and it's serious. What keeps you up at night?
That's a good question. What keeps me up at night? Definitely something related to creators, African stories, the African creator economy as a whole. Just the fact that there's so many untold stories from this part of the world. That's something I'm so passionate about. We see that there's a huge demand for our culture globally. You know, there's mass exportation of our culture with music, with movies, food. You know, sometimes you'll be on TikTok and you see a random video of a white girl somewhere in London or New York saying, I'm trying Ebusi for the first time. And I've been seeing so many videos like that. So there's like this mass exploitation of our culture. And I don't think it has extended as much to the creator economy as it could. In Nigeria now, all the biggest creators we know are based in Lagos. Some in Abuja. But there's so many stories to be told from different corners of the country. From the north, from the east. Nigeria is so rich and multicultural, and this is not just Nigeria. It extends to every part of Africa, to Kigali, to Nairobi, South Africa. There's just not enough stories, and it still feels like everyone who wants to be noticed or who wants to blow up on the global stage has to move to LA, has to move to New York, has to move to London. What keeps me up at night is I want to see a time when we move because we are needed, not because we're trying to run away from a broken system or us not having what we need. No, I want our story. I see our stories having global demand. And one of the reasons why I'm so positive about it is what has happened with music. You know, there was a time when Nigerians were told, sing in English so that you can appeal to a global audience. And then there's people like Ashake who are singing Yoruba back to back, and people are singing it word for word all over the world.
Yeah.
It's always weird to me when I travel and you just walk into a random cafe. I've walked into a random cafe in Singapore and I heard Loj playing, you know, not even Burna Boy, Davido or Whiskey, like a Loj song. You know, I've had that in different countries and it's just like, wow, like this thing is next level. Like we don't even appreciate how far that has gone in Nigeria. And I believe that can be the vehicle for more of our stories, more of our indigenous stories that don't need to be diluted. It's like, no, this is us. And it's interesting enough that anybody else, anywhere in the world, wants to hear this thing, wants to see our perspective, and most importantly, wants to pay us a premium.
Yeah.
Because on YouTube, for example, you know, even though, you know, the video Steven made, that's really amazing how the numbers those guys are able to make, you know, but they should be making more.
Yeah.
They should be making more. Like, if you speak to the average creator in America, you know, that has 100K subscribers on YouTube, they don't need to do anything else. They don't need to have any other job. Like, they can focus on YouTube because they make that much from ad revenue. But in Nigeria, people earn less. You know, Thames manager was in an interview the other day and was talking about how 1 million streams from Nigeria.
Yes, I saw it. I saw it. Brilliant guy. Muiwa. Like, brilliant guy. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing guy. $300, that's crazy.
Yes.
That's bonkers, which is understandable. Somewhere else, you get the same 1 million streams and you're earning thousands of dollars. That's crazy. So I see a world where, because of how important our stories are, we're able to command more revenue at a higher level where we're able to earn like our partners anywhere else in the world, you know. Yeah.
Our counterpart.
That's what keeps me up at night. That's what keeps me up at night.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Because from researching and studying you, I saw your model. You remind me of Colin and Samir. I don't know if you know them. They're big YouTubers.
Yeah.
They get it. They get it. If you study their emails, you know that these guys understand the creator business. They are making money everywhere. So I was just thinking about it. I said, this guy has a creator to creator business. And he has a B2B business.
Yeah.
So you have two things from studying from a distance. You have B2B because you work with brands, right? Then you also have C2C, creator to creator, because a lot of creators follow you. So
Yeah.
if you harness that machinery, in fact, if you have a business manager, just deal with your B2B. If you harness the C2C machinery, because there's a big army brewing in Nigeria, C2C. If you lock in on that, this guy will run a 500 million business. I'm telling you. So as we begin to wrap up, guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode of the podcast. Click on the subscribe button. If you're listening to this on Spotify, click on the subscribe button so that we get amazing guests like this. We've hit 40,000 downloads and impressions on Spotify. That's very, very good. So click on it. I'm going to put Salem's details in the show notes so you can follow him on Instagram, buy his materials, and, start your creator journey. What is the one book that you have given or recommended for a lot of creators to read? Because it has helped you. I don't know how big of a reader you are or a podcast consumer as you are.
Yeah.
What's the one book that you have recommended for them, for people?
One book is tough. There's a lot of books. That's why one is tough.
Okay, let's make it 3 books. Let's make it 3 books.
Okay, I can do 3 books. So, Show Your Work by Austin Kleon.
That's a great book. That's the book that changed Ali Abdal's life. Great book.
Yes, Show Your Work. The One Thing. I forget the author's name now, but it's a yellow book.
Yeah,
Every copy is
something
yellow.
Keller.
It just says The One Thing. Yes, The One Thing. And finally, The Creative Act by Rick Rubin.
That's a good book. I saw the book last week. That book is £24, man.
Yeah, it's a big book.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Big book, so it's more expensive than normal. But yeah, those are 3 books. And if you had asked me this question 2 years ago, it would have been a different set of books. But in the past 2 years, I think these are the books that I've recommended the most. They've also helped me. These are the books I'm also going back to the most. Because I never read a book once. There are people who read 100 books. I have like 10 books, maybe not 10. I have like 7 books that I've read 10 times. That's how, I prefer to consume information. There's books that I like to go back to as the new version of myself, every now and then. Yeah, so those are the 3 now. If you ask me in 2 years, it might be different, but right now, those are if wake me up from sleep, those are the books I mentioned.
Very good. I mean, it's good. Someone said that you never step into the same water twice. You never step into the same water twice, because the you that read the book yesterday is a totally different human being.
It's a different 100
today. Wow, Salem, this has been a very, 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 I don't know about it, I enjoyed the conversation a lot. I'm sure that anybody who listens to this, you have a pointer to how to earn as a creator in this, even as a business person, as an entrepreneur, in this episode. So thank you so much for coming. Wedge, if somebody wants to check you out, learn more about what you're doing, you say you are building a community that starts next month, right? So can I get the link as well? I'm going to drop it in the show notes.
Yes. So Creatorium.
So what's that community about? Tell us about the community.
So Creatorium, we're trying to build the largest community of creators out of Africa. I'm partnering with Adora Lumina. I'm sure, a lot of you have heard about her. We're incredibly passionate about creators. We see a lot of people doing things for creators, events, but they're not creators. They're business people, which is okay. But this is the first time that we're actually making something that is for creators, by creators. We have skin in the game. We know the struggles. We know all of these things. We're starting with a podcast, a show, but out of that, we're building so many other things. We'll have workshops coming. We have a community, all of that. We're launching June 22nd. I think that's depending on when this comes out, but we're launching June 22nd. It's called Creatorium, create with an 8 in the middle. You can find us everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Follow the journey. Me, I'm at Salem King. You got the same handle everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, Threads, YouTube, at Salem King everywhere. And that's just it. Hope to see you on the other side.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Let's stop the recording. You just wait a little bit so that it can upload just with you a little bit, and then we'll go. Let me just stop the recording now. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Click on the subscribe button again. Take a screenshot. Tell Salem you really enjoyed the episode. Tell him what you learned. 1 or 2 things that you learned. And who knows, he may put it in his story for you. You may get more followers. Who knows? Just follow the instruction, man. Yeah.